So this is something that I will probably just continue saying all of the time, and I will probably make a lot of videos just focusing around this exact thing, maybe from different angles. But overall, I'm this is one thing I'm going to be speaking to a lot because uh, it is something that I am doing every single day, nonstop, always, and have been now for years. And it is what feels like the cornerstone to all of the healing work or whatever you want to call it, right? Um, and that's just, and for myself, again, I want to speak to for me, and then anyone that relates. It has always been very, very challenging and difficult for me to be around other people. As soon as I'm around, pretty much, had been, as soon as I was ever around anyone else, I would immediately basically be in a fight or flight response. I know that now, but I would freeze up, get anxious, mind start racing, can't be myself, don't have access to my body at all, don't feel relaxed, can't be natural anymore. And it's just one of those things. It's like all of a sudden, it's you just can't be yourself, in that situation. I'll bring it back to me again. Like I was never able to be myself when I was around anyone, and except for the people that I would get super, super comfortable and feel super safe with in my life, those people, I wouldn't have this response and I would be able to relax and I could actually start being myself. Um, but it would be nice to be able to be yourself everywhere, right? And to feel relaxed around all people, And I will say the one caveat is you don't want to dismiss what your body's telling you when there actually is real danger, for lack of better terms, And I mean, your body is so intelligent, your body is so smart. Like your body will tell you if this isn't a safe person to be around. So there's kind of two sides to the same coin here, you know. The one side is there is a truth that I have been able to get progressively. Do that I've been able to get progressively more relaxed and feeling safe in my body, and I've been able to just be myself around, you know, people, which is a miracle, which is crazy that I'm actually just able to be in my body and just feel relaxed and be myself, and yeah, and be around people. That used to feel like it was never going to happen. Um, and then also there is the other side of the same coin where there are still times now, like when it's just very obvious to me now when someone, like, it doesn't feel safe, for lack of better terms. When I mean safe, it's not like, oh, there's actual danger, something's going to happen. I mean safe more in the way that if you maybe be your, like if you're a little bit vulnerable anyway, maybe just like bringing out a part of you that feels a little bit more vulnerable, it's not safe because it can't be received by the other person. Like there's going to just be that feeling of judgment or something on their end. And so in those scenarios, those are the people that you shouldn't even be around. That's the first signal. So when you get that signal, don't be around them if you can, and if you can't, figure out a way to um, not be around them. But also, then there's other ways. Then you just learn how to safeguard, and that's where the boundaries come in, and you just keep yourself protected energetically, and then you don't stretch yourself, you don't put yourself out in basically that area of the energetic field where that person could then have their reaction to you that will happen, which will then make you close back in on yourself. Um, so that's where it's so nuanced, and you start to like learn, but you don't want to. So the middle side, the mid, the middle, the middle of the coin, I suppose, is where you're centered and balanced, and you're comfortable and you're relaxed around anyone and people, and even these people, right? And I think it's like where the expressing comes in is where you start to safeguard. Um, so I'll speak from my own personal experience, and if you can relate to that, amazing. I hope so. Um, I always, in the past, I was classic oversharer of everything, of energy, of myself, of stories, of all the different things, and you know, I would always share so much, and I always went up the thing like I'm an open book, like whatever. Like there was always a truth that I had no problem sharing any part about myself. I had no issue with sharing anything. If someone asked, I would be happily share that. Like that, there was no secret. I felt that there was any part of my life that was a secret that I couldn't share with anybody. You know, um, but then I'm sure as many of you have experienced this. There would be times when I would share something like personal or from me, right? And I there was always that immediate feeling when it wasn't received. I was like, why did I why did I do that? Why did I share that? And then later it would like come up again, and I would have what my friend um, coined as what was it, a vulnerability hangover, which I like the term for that. It makes sense to me. Um, so I would do this time and time again, keep questioning, why am I sharing? Why am I sharing these things to people? And that's the thing, is I'm sharing to people when I really, you know, when I really like checked in. I was just like, they can't receive this. You know what I mean? Like I know they can't. Like I don't know why I'm wanting a different reaction from them. Like I know that they can't receive this. You know. So what am I looking for? Why am I doing this? And so that's when I started to clean that up, and I stopped sharing things to people that I knew couldn't receive it. And it's weird because that's almost everybody, you know? Um, and so it's such an interesting place in my life nowadays to be in, where I used to share pretty much everything with everybody. And now I don't share anything almost with almost anybody. There's the few select people in my life, and I'm really grateful. I have people in my life that can receive, um, that they can receive me when I'm sharing, and those are the people I share things with. But other than that, it's pretty much yes, no, very surface things, and that's how you protect your energy. People are always like, protect your energy, blah blah blah. That's how you do it. You understand where you're received and where you're not, and you know what's safe to share and what's not, and you either share or you don't. And it's cool because you get that immediate feedback. If it wasn't, you immediately just like, oh fuck, that felt terrible. So yeah, so to go back to that, the main, I think, like the balance point, has been for me, has been being able to be comfortable, relaxed, and just continuously like relaxing my nervous system, just relaxing, softening, around anyone and everyone at all times, which gives you more capacity for, ironically, safeness too, because then if anything was to actually like pop off, then like you're grounded, you're there, you have all, you're not drained of energy. So, so you're good on that front. But then, um, you just don't overshare to the people that can't hear you, can't see you, and you do share, with the others that can. And in doing so, you have both sides of the same coin, right? You have the side where you can be relaxed around anybody, and then you can also be around people and safeguard yourself and have your boundaries. The way I've always looked at it is like you have your castle walls, okay? Um, and people can hang right outside your castle walls, but inside it's like there's many layers, like on some Game of Thrones shit, right? Like when you see the things like the castles, there's just so many different like walls and layers leading up to the main like room. right? You have your throne room where you sit, and in my opinion, pretty much absolutely no one gets in there besides maybe the queen, right? Or king, whatever. And no one gets in there besides that. And also, when I say like the queen or king, please don't take that as like someone you just got into a relationship with. Like that's not the queen or king yet. Okay, like this, it's on a different level of who actually gets, in my opinion, in that room. And then right outside there, in like the main castle, whatever, you have your different layers. You can have those like your family, everyone else, or the family that's safe, not just family across the board, right? You allow the people in that feel like actual family, feel like love, feel like safety, and those are the people there. And then outside, you keep. I think you get what I'm saying. Is like you just keep these outer rings, and you just understand. But you have those main castle walls, and like people could chill outside the castle all day. But if anyone that's not supposed to be inside the castle walls try to come inside the castle walls, aka pushing, trying to blow past your boundaries, you've got an army, and they can handle that, and there's no problem. So, yeah, be your king, be your queen, have your castle, feel relaxed inside your castle, feel relaxed, on your throne, um, and just start feeling it. It's all through feelings that you understand like what's safe and what's not safe. Just keep listening to those, keep feeling into those. They will inform you. They will tell you every single time, and just listen. And that's the thing. You're going to keep closing the gap. You're going to keep closing the gap because I'll speak again from my own personal experience. It's like one of those things. Is like for the longest time, right? Like unconsciously, I was doing that my entire life. My entire life, I was oversharing and saying things to everybody that couldn't receive it. Like, literally all the time, literally my whole life, and I was just always feeling terrible, my whole life, and just always in a reaction, always in a state. So like, I didn't have enough capacity or space to even realize that was making me feel bad. Like I didn't have that awareness or that space at that time in my life. So, you know, when that space finally came in and when there was awareness and there was that, at first, what would happen is like I would overshare, and then it would be like later that day, I would be like, man, I don't think that felt good. Like I'd be thinking about it or something, I'd be like, I don't think that felt good that I did that, and then I would do it again the next day, and then, a couple hours later, and then do it again a couple hours later, a little bit shorter, do it again, and now it was an hour later, do it again, and now it was like 30 minutes, do it again, and it was like 10 minutes after, do it again, 5 minutes, do it again, a minute, and then do it again. You're like, and you can feel it. You're like, oh, fuck, it feels gross. Like, this is the thing that doesn't make me feel good. Oh, and then when you get closer and closer and you bridge that gap like that, then you can just start dropping it in the immediate. You just start dropping it like in real time, but you have to close that bridge. So just please don't beat yourself up when you're like, fuck, I did it again, fuck, I did it again, fuck, I did it again, because you're gonna do it again. You're gonna keep doing it. You're just gonna keep doing it over and over until you get to the space where you're catching it in the immediate, and then you can drop it, and then you're going to be also, you're going to get to the space where you're catching it right before you do it. Like you're going to feel it come up in you. You're like, about to share some shit, and you're like, let me not, maybe let me not, let me do that, let me try that, and you relax and you hold it back, and you're like, all right, that felt good, that felt better, and then you grow a skill that you've never had, which is being able to hold your energy. And it's a brand new skill, and you might slip up and you might share again. And if you're anything like me, it's not going to be a might. If you're anything like me, you're going to slip up and you're going to do it again. You're going to do it again and again and again. And you're going to keep learning. It's practicing. It's like learning. It literally is like learning, not like, it is actually learning a new skill that you've never been able to do before. Speaking of my experience, I was never able to do it. So I had to learn a new skill. It's just like playing a sport or learning an instrument or doing anything. If you've never done it, you're not going to be a master at it right away. You have to keep practicing and keep doing it, and you're going to keep feeling your way. Just like these things, you feel your way and how to do it. And the best way to do it, best way to learn, is through curiosity and just being interested in what's going on in the whole thing, and you're doing it through and for a place of self-care. Like that really is the self-love that people talk about, because right there you're doing it for yourself. Like you're feeling like, oh, when I do this thing it makes me feel bad, and I care about me, so I wouldn't want me to feel bad, so let me not do this thing. So out of the catalyst and like the fire that comes from that self-care and wanting to protect yourself, a new skill is born. And through that you learn, and you're going to stumble along the way, but it's worth it, because the opposite of it is not caring about yourself and allowing yourself to continuously feel uh, bad, and we don't want that. We'd rather feel good. We'd rather feel good than bad, right? Speak for myself. I would usually like to feel good. Good's good, bad's well, it's bad. So, um, yeah, and then you have a new skill, and then it becomes easier. You do it more of the time, and then you just have more energy, because in the past your energy was always leaking all the time. Again, I'll speak for myself. My energy was always leaking whenever I would do this. I would overshare, and that was me leaving my energy. And that's the thing. When energy is received, right, there's a feedback loop. So I want to paint it out like this, so maybe you can like ground it in a little bit more, make it a little bit more tangible. And so what's happening when you're sharing with someone that can receive your energy and the thing about you, like it's usually stuff like this. It's really when you're sharing a thing about you, like I feel this way, or I felt this, or this happened to me, or I'm excited about, you know what I mean? Like those types of things that are like, they're about you, they're from you. So what you're doing is that it's your energy that you're sharing with somebody else. And when it's received, and that person has the capacity to actually receive your energy and see it and understand it and just like actually care and appreciate it, or at least try to understand it, like they're there to feel it with you and to experience what you're saying, then there's a feedback loop that goes on, and they feel that, and then they share what comes up for them. It doesn't even matter what it is, but like then they share in their energy too, and then you receive that. So you're in this space where there's nothing being drained. The feedback loop is closed. The two of you are co-creating an experience where there's an energetic feedback loop, and it's there's no, there's no drain there. You're sharing, they're receiving, and you're sharing. It becomes this thing where like, and this is one of those things that at the end of the day becomes very obvious, I know, to a lot of people, but it's one of those things I like. It really always to drive it home, like sharing and receiving, like giving and receiving, are exactly the same thing. When someone is giving and someone is receiving, like in this, and there's a closed feedback loop, there's no separation. So the giving and receiving are actually just our words. They're just constructs to try to like, that we use to make understand of whatever, blah, 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 yada, yada. But the giving and receiving, so if you see that with the feedback loop, if there's a giving and receiving going on at the exact same time there, and the feedback loop is closed, it's like an infinity loop. It's like, how can you say one part is giving and one part is receiving when they're the same exact thing, when they're tied together? Where could the giving start and where could the receiving end? That's why they always say when someone is like really giving, like fully, and the other person's fully receiving what that person is giving, the person giving is receiving just as much as the person giving, and vice versa. So okay, so that's the one example, right? And the second example is, for instance, if you're sharing your energy or a part of yourself with someone that can't be received, what's happening? There's no feedback loop. You're sharing and you're giving out, and it's just it has nowhere to go. It has nowhere to go and then come back. So it's just leaving you and being dispersed, and then it's out there in the field getting all frazzled or whatever, and then eventually, you'll integrate it in a way, blah blah, and you'll be fine and okay. And it's not like you're not fine, but you see how that doesn't feel good when you just give and then you're like, oh, it's gone. Then we wonder why we're depleted. I would always wonder why I'm depleted all the time. There's other reasons, but this was a major cause. It was a major cause of why I was depleted all the time. So the two, just if you can even just look at that when you're speaking, just like, if you can feel, if you can feel that feedback loop of it, and that giving like and receiving right there, that creates more energy because it's life, it's like the two coming together. It's a co-creation right there. So there's more energy and you feel energized from things like that. When there's none, you'll feel drained. So those are two easy ways to just look at the different areas and or different types of scenarios and see if either one, um, which one does it feel like? Which one does it feel like? And this isn't to say that a person, like person A can always receive you, and they're always safe to share, and person B can never, and they're never safe. People are more complex than that. People grow, but also not even just that. There's times when people are just not having a good day and they don't have the capacity, right? So you always have to check in with yourself and them, like energetically like that, and just be like, is right now the time? Is right now an okay time? Is right now a safe time for me to share? Um, and if it is, then great, and if it's not, then try the new skill. Just try to hold it back, you know? And if you don't and you share and you feel bad later, like I said, don't beat yourself up. It's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. It's going to happen a lot, a lot, a lot. And yeah, we got this, you know? We got this. You got this. I got this. We got this. Yeah. Stay blessed.